Alright, so we have done a good progress so far, but still our code is buggy. It's a little buggy right now. I'll tell you how. I mean, our stops are working. We are able to insert a student into our database, but still we have to look into something. Okay, what is that something? I'm going to talk about that right now, and you're going to see some interesting thing because there is a very huge mistake we have made. And actually, if we are not going to look into that mistake, if we are not going to care about that mistake that we made, if we are going to ignore it, then this is going to put you in serious trouble. Okay, I'll tell you why. So one thing I'm going to do right now, I will go to this particular form. This is the form that we have created. Let me refresh the page. So I am inside my show our student page URL. So what about I'm going to insert a record. Let's say my my student name is going to be Vicky. Okay, his mobile number is something. His country is, let's say, India again. Okay, and I'll do submit. Well, the student data is saved, and obviously I can see whatever I have been sorted to the form that has been captured, and one record got updated in the log. I can see, I can confirm that happened, and I can also go to the database if I want. Right here, if I'm going to hit this flash button, well, Vicky is inserted. Okay, now this guy Vicky is a little crazy. Okay, so he just thought, okay, what about if I'm going to refresh this particular page? He just out of curiosity, he has done a refresh here, and now see what happened. Another record got updated. The name is again Vicky. So if you are going to go back to your application, if you're going to click on this yellow bolt again, you can see another record got updated for Vicky. So what about this guy got really crazy and he kept refreshing the page? You will see what will happen. Clear the console. He refreshed the page. Well, one record again got inserted. Refresh the page. One record again got inserted. Refresh the page. Again one record got inserted. In your database, if you are going to hit this flash button, now see how many Vicky objects is right here. You see the problem? So if the user is refreshing the page, we cannot stop the user to refresh the page, isn't it? We cannot tell the user that, hey, don't refresh the page. It is not necessary. User can do anything with his browser. We cannot stop him. But right now, here we have a bug. Here we have a problem. We have a serious concern here. Now, if you go to your main list, if you go to the main URL, what is that? If you go to your controller, we have created another endpoint, right? This is the one. So student, if I'm going to hit this URL right now, if I'm going to hit this URL, so student, enter. See how many Vicky we are having here. Obviously this data we are facing it from the DB, isn't it? So how many students we are having here for Vicky? Many students. So it's really bad right now. It's really bad that we are not restricting the user. We are not restricting the user to do the refresh. The user can go ahead and he can do the refresh, but it's our responsibility as a developer. We have to make sure if he is refreshing the page, then there should not be any hamper, or there should not be any impact to my database. Okay, we have to make sure of that. So let's see the problem right now. Okay, so let's see how to fix this one. So first thing is that let me go to my R student form, this particular form that I have created. I want to go there and I want to analyze something. Okay, first of all, if I'll go to the insert title here, if I'll go here and if I'll go to the add student URL, now I want to give a add button here first of all, because once I click here, I can go to that particular page. I don't want to remember the URL. What is the URL I have created? Show our student page. This is the URL to the add page, isn't it? Show our student page. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let me copy this URL and let me create a button. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll go to student list page, the main page. The main page was this one. I want to go to this page /so student. Who is handling this particular URL? This guy, right? slash show student. It is returning a student list. I want to open that list. Okay, so right here on top of this particular table, I want to create a button. So maybe I want to create a link or a button. Let me create a form. Okay, and the action is going to be this. Okay, slash student management slash show our student page. Okay, I want my user to navigate to this particular page, and what I want to have a button here. I'll say input type equal to submit, and value equal to what we say that add student. Okay, add student. Let me say add only because we are dealing with student. Okay, we so anyhow my button will be add. Value of the button is going to be add. So whenever somebody is going to click on submit button, it is going to navigate him to the show add student page. This is going to be my page context, isn't it? So and this is going to be my context name. Make sure that if I'll do a right click, if I'll go to properties, if I'll go to web project setting, this is my context root, right? Student management. Okay, that's why I'm putting my context root name just right here. All right. Otherwise you can do one thing. You can also remove it and see what happens if you don't have it just right here. So whenever we will get problem, at that time only we'll fix it. Okay, now let me create a simple form. This form has an action called show our student page. So whenever somebody is going to submit this particular button, there should be a button right now. If I'll go here, if I'll do a refresh, you'll see a add button just right here. Now whenever somebody is going to submit this particular form, then obviously this will go to show our student page. So right now let me go there. Let me click on add. Well, I moved to show our student page, isn't it? Right now, let's say I am going to enter a student. Let's say Akash. Okay, mobile number is something. Country is, let's say, UK. Submit. Okay, submission is working, right? So I want to have this particular flow. That's why I've just introduced a new button, because I don't want to remember the URL that I have created, because anyhow whenever I'm clicking on add, that URL is automatically getting fired right now. This is what basically I wanted. Cool. So right now let's look into that particular problem. Okay, so now whenever we do a submit of this particular form, where is this particular form? This particular form we have created here inside the art student, isn't it? Let me close the other files right now. It's not needed. Okay, now I want to deal with these three files. Now tell me guys, in this form, whenever we are submitting this particular form, what is happening? It is going to go to the save student. Whenever we are submitting this particular form, it is going where? It is going to save student, isn't it? It is going to this URL. Right now, when we are trying to submit, we are creating a new resource inside our database, isn't it? I'm doing submit. I'm filling in all the details and I do submit. That means that is the record. I want to insert it to my database, right? So what I'm going to do here, I'll go back. I will go to our student page, and here basically the method I have written get. So I should write a post method because I'm creating a new resource. So my method should be post. And obviously when somebody is going to do a submit, I don't want to show the data in the URL. The data I want to hide as well. So basically that is going to be taken care by this method equal to post. Okay, now let's see what is going to happen. I'll go here. I will refresh the page. I will say another record. Let's say, Bijay. All right. Mobile number something. Country is India. Submit. Let's see what is going to happen. Well, 405 method not allowed. Okay. Request method post is not supported. So it is saying what? So request method post is not supported. So the problem here is right now, why we're getting a 405 method not allowed is, if we'll go to the art student.jsp, whenever you are trying to do a submit here, whenever you're trying to submit this particular form, whenever you're trying to do submit, what is basically happening, it is going to go to /savestudent. So do we have any handler mapping method which can handle this particular URL? Obviously we have one. So if I'll go to controller, we have a /savestudent method just right here. Okay, we do have it. But right now, why it is saying that method not allowed? It is saying method not allowed because now if you see this particular method, this method cannot handle that request. Why? Because this is a get method. But right now we are looking for a post method. Whenever we are trying to do submit, what is happening? Whenever the submission is done, whenever we are doing submit here, obviously it should go to the post method. Okay, it should look for a post kind of method which is going to handle the /savestudent. So we already have a /savestudent URL mapping just right here. We already have a method which is basically handling the /savestudent, but we are making it a get mapping. That's the problem. So let's change it to a post method. Let's say at post mapping. So whenever we will have a post request, I assume that right now the flow will come to here. This method is going to handle that request because right now I'm writing here as post mapping. So right now when somebody is going to submit, obviously this is going to be a post request. So inside the student controller we have a method, and this particular method is handling a post request. So obviously this particular method is going to be get executed just right now. So let me do Control+S. Let me see right now the problem is solved or not. Let me wait till my server reload the changes, and then I am going to test this out. So right now I'll go to insert title here. This is going to be my web page obviously. And right now let me try to submit this particular page, and boom, right now it's worked. And you can see one record updated. So anyhow, the data went to the database. So if we'll go back and if we'll refresh it, you can see one record got updated for Bijay. And obviously previously I did a empty submit. So for the record number 14, there is no data available. Okay, so now let's try to solve that error that I told. Let's say this Vijay is submitting, and again he's trying to do refresh. You can see one record updated, one record updated, one record updated. So the records are getting updated again and again to my database based on the user submit, or based on the user refresh. So I need to stop it. And to do that, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to introduce something called a design pattern. The design pattern name is post redirect get. So what do you mean by that? What do you mean by post redirect get? Let's talk about it. So first of all, if I will go to my student controller, so this is the method which is going to get call each time I will hit this URL, isn't it? /savestudent. So as many time I'm going to hit this URL, obviously this particular method will be get called, and inside this method I'm trying to save my student, and obviously I'm doing a DAO call here. So if I'll go to this particular method, so obviously this method will be executed, and obviously it is going to insert a new record to my database, and that's why I'm saying one record updated. And every time I'm keep refreshing my web page, what basically happening behind the scene is this particular method is getting executed again and again. So if you don't want to believe me, what you can do, you can put a debug point here. Okay, and if you'll go to /savestudent right now, it will go there. You can also put a debug point here. Okay, inside the do method, one debug point. Go back inside /savestudent method, one debug point. So right now you can stop your server, and you can start it in debug mode. So let me do that. So I can stop my server. Now server stopped. Let me go back here. Now let me start it in debug mode, and you will see some crazy thing right now. You will be experiencing that problem. Then we'll try to think, okay, how to solve it. Okay, so right now let me go there. Let me go back. Maybe I'll go for a new record. Let me say Akhil. Let me say that this is his mobile number. This is the country that we have. And once we do submit, I'm doing submit. Right now it is going to my debug perspective. Okay, so right now I'll do switch. So where is my code? Okay, now it came to /savestudent method, right? Obviously we're trying to do a submit here. we're trying to do submit here, and obviously it will go to the SAP student method. So inside my controller, my flow is here, right? So now I'll do step over. Now it is on line number 53. Right now it is going to go into the student.DAO method, isn't it? Right now it will go to this SAP student method. Now let me do a resume. You will see that right now it is going to the SAP student method, and this is inside the student DAO IMPL. So right now I'm having a DAO call. So right now if I'll do step over, obviously the record will be inserted. So once the record is inserted, obviously right now my flow is not released yet. Let me wait. Okay, okay, so now my flow came here, and obviously the update has been complete. And if I'll do resume the program, one record will be updated. That's fine. If you'll go here, obviously last time it got timed out. So if I'll do again, let me say Akhilesh submit, and again it will go to a SAP student method. If I'll do resume, it will go to a SAP student again, the SAP student of the student DAO. This is getting called from the controller. Resume the program, one record updated, go there, you will see student record SAP. Right now the situation that I want to show you, whenever somebody is again doing refresh, the SAP student is again getting executed. Again the call is coming to this particular method. That's the problem. So right now again as the call is coming, so again it is going to SAP student of the student DAO IMPL, and obviously we'll be trying to insert the record again just right here. So if I'll do step over, and if I'll do resume the program, you'll see one record is again getting updated. So if somebody is going to keep refreshing the page, it is again and again going to come to this particular URL, and that is the problem we need to fix. So again and again it is going to the DAO, and again it is inserting a record, and obviously it is executing the JDBC template update method. That's what the problem is, and that's why every time he does a refresh, a new record is getting updated, and that's what we do not want. Okay, so right now if we'll go back, if I'll do a refresh, you will see how many records are updated for Akhilesh. Okay, so right now the easiest way to fix this one, what we will do, I'll tell you something. Let me go to the controller. Okay, so right now once this particular operation is getting completed, once this post mapping wala method, I'm sorry, I suppose not to say Hindi, once this particular method job is done, once this SAP student method is getting executed, so we will redirect the user to somewhere else. Okay, once somebody do refresh, he should not come here again. He should be going back to somewhere else. Okay, we will try to follow that approach. So right now the game plan here is, when this particular method got executed for one time, we will redirect the user to a different page, maybe a thank you page. Okay, so what I'll do here, once this particular method is getting completed, I will try to redirect the user to a different URL, maybe thank you. Okay, and make sure this thank you URL will be a GET request. So what I'll do here, I'll create another URL here, and that is going to be get mapping, and make sure that get mapping is never going to harm us anything, because get means what? We're trying to get something from the database. Okay, or get means what? Maybe we are simply printing something, we are simply displaying some data to the user. So if the user is going to keep executing the get request again and again, there is nothing harm to our database, or there is no harm will met to us, because get means he is just trying to paste the data. Okay, post means he is actually creating something in our database. At that time we have to be careful. So right now I'm trying to go for a get mapping, and I'll try to create a URL. This URL will be created for thank you. Let me copy this, and I will create a URL for thank you, and right here I'm going to write public string thank you. Okay, and I'll create a thank you page, and I'll say return thank you. I'll say your record has been added to the database or something, or table or something you can say. Okay, obviously I want to directly print this one, so I need to write at response body because I want to directly print this particular text. If I'll not be writing response body, then obviously my Spring will think that there is a page or there is a web page available with this name, which I do not want. This is basically the text I want to print to my database. So right now what I'm going to do here, that's it basically. I don't need to do anything else. Let me actually terminate my debugging and everything. So that's it. So right now see the magic that we are going to do here. So somebody is going to hit this URL. Obviously when this particular URL will be hit, obviously when somebody will try to submit the add student form, at that time the flow will come to here, to the save student method. Now once the saving is done here, after that we are trying to redirect the user to the thank you page. So after this he will be seeing the thank you page. The thank you URL is where? Select it, do control or command K. So here you can see here is the URL that we have created. So now once this is done, we are redirecting the user to this URL, and here we are saying thank you, your record has been added, and make sure this is the get mapping. Okay, so now you see the magic. I'll do save it, and I will just try to start my application, and you will see some really amazing thing right now. If I'll go to insert title here, if I'm going to do a refresh, no problem. So right now let me create a new record. So the new record I'll be creating, this is going to be for the student called Abhilash. So write Abhilash here. Mobile number for Abhilash is something. Let me say Abhilash Panigrahi. Okay, maybe there is already a Abhilash record exist, and the country is going to be, let's say, India. So I'll do submit. Obviously, okay, is saying redirect thank you. Oh, why it's not working? Let me see that. So still it is inside the save student URL, but I want that URL to redirect to this particular page, isn't it? So why it is not working? Why it is not redirecting to the thank you page? I don't want to print this. Oh, I got the issue. In the student controller, this is directly printing this. That's because we have a response body over it. Okay, that's why it is not redirecting. It is printing this as a text. So let me remove the response body just right here from this particular URL over this particular method, and let me wait till my server reload the changes, and you will see something. So right now if I will go back to here, if I'll go back, let me try to do a submit right now, and boom, right, I'm redirect to thank you page. So right now you can see one record got updated. Okay, so one record is inserted to my database, but right now here it is saying thank you, your record has been added to the database. Now look into the console. If I'm going to keep refreshing it, no new record will be created inside my database. Inside my table there will be no new record will be created. I'm keep refreshing this particular page, and as you can see, there is no changes has been getting made to my DB. All right. So, well, so right now it's working. So right now, if I'll go to my database, where is that? MySQL Workbench. If I'll go here, and if I am going to refresh this particular page, see, Abhilash Panigrahi. Okay. Last time also I did hit. Last time also I did enter Abhilash Panigrahi. That's why two objects are here, because remember we forgot to remove the at response body from that particular method, right? So what we can do, let me go and test this again, maybe with a different user, maybe let's say Abhishek. Okay, mobile number is something, country is UK or US. Okay, let me do submit. Okay, right now he's redirect to the thank you page, and you can see the URL, he's redirect to here, and you can obviously see for Abhishek one record got updated. Now I'll be keep refreshing this refresh button, and let's see what is going to happen. Obviously there is nothing in the log. I will go back to the database, and let's see Abhishek is coming here for how many times. Refresh the page. Go down, Abhishek is only there for only one time. And if you'll go back to your web page, which is here, if I'll go back again, if I'll do a refresh, you can also see obvsec is only here for one time. So if the user is going crazy just after he is trying to add something, let's say he's adding something just right here, Jack, John, and mobile is something, the country is, let's say, UK, submit, and after that, if he is going crazy and keep refreshing this particular page, nothing will happen. And the reason for that is whenever inside the student controller, first of all, whenever he is trying to do a submit, obviously the flow is coming, obviously whenever he will be doing a submit, so it will come to save student method. Now where is our save student? The save student is here. Now it is coming here. So after this, once this particular method got executed, after the record has been saved, we are trying to redirect the user to the thank you page. Right now he is here. The thank you page is just right here. He is coming here. And after this, he is seeing this particular page. And if he keeps refreshing the web page, he is going to refresh this particular URL. And obviously every time he is going to do, once he enters something, let's say, if he is entering something, submit, and after this, if he keep refreshing it, obviously the thank you URL will be get called. Obviously, this is the particular method which will be get called, and obviously he is going to see this particular text just right here. And obviously we are not doing any kind of DB operations just right here inside this particular method. This is just a URL just to show the user that, okay, your response has been done, your response has been recorded, and thank you very much. And if he keeps refreshing, no problem, we are going to keep showing him the same page. Done, issue fixed, isn't it? Cool. So right now, basically, I don't want to do this. Let me remove this thank you method. So I want what? Whenever the user is going to do a submit, once the submission has been done, he will come back to this original page, okay, and he will see the name just right here. Okay, so I'll do what? I will go to student controller, and right here, instead of saying /thank you, I want to call this one, so student. Okay, this is basically going to show the student list, the entire student list, isn't it? So it is going to show this particular page. So I want to redirect the user to this URL. So copy the URL, come back, and right here, let me say command V and so student. Okay, let me do command S, and you will be seeing some nice thing just right now. Let me wait till my server reload the changes. All right, so it's done. My server reloaded the changes. So I'll go back to this insert title here. I'll go back to here. I'll do refresh again. I'll go to add. I'll try to insert a new student. Let me say Abhipsap. The mobile number is going to be something. The country, I'll say India. And obviously after that I'll do submit, and the user came back to the original page where she will see the list. And if I'll go all the way to down, you can see Abhipsa is just right here. So right now there are so many data. First of all, I'll do one thing. Let me truncate this table, truncate table, and I want to truncate this table, copy that, paste it. There are so many data, I want to get rid of that. Let me create a fresh table right now. So the truncation has happened. So right now I can go back to my original page. I do a refresh. Obviously there is no data here because I have truncated the table. I'll go on and I'll keep adding some student. I'll say Avilash, mobile number is something, country is India, and I'll do submit, and obviously Avilash is added here. I'll add one more. I'll say Abhishek, and mobile is something, country is, let's say, US, and submit, and Abhishek is added here. Let me add one more, submit, and that guy has been added here. There we go. We are done. Right now we have followed some good coding practice, and we have implemented a design pattern just right here, which is called post redirect get. So why I'm saying it a post redirect get? Because whenever you are trying to click on add, and whenever you are trying to insert a record, whenever you are trying to insert this particular record, whenever you do submit, this is first of all going to a post request, which is save student. This is post request. So first it is going to look for the post. So here is the post mapping. So first it is coming to this particular method, which is a post request. Right now from the post, we are redirecting him to another URL. So if we'll go to this URL, if we'll select this and if we'll do Control K, this URL is here. And this URL, if you see, this is a get mapping. Okay, so that's why we say post redirect get. So from the post request, this is my post request. So from my post request, I'm doing what? I am redirecting the user to this URL, and this URL is what? This is a get URL. If I'll come here, if I'll do Control K and if I'll do search for it, if I'll come here, you can see this particular URL is a get request. And if the user is going crazy and keep refreshing the page, he's going to again and again get the this particular URL hit. He'll be hitting this particular URL, and obviously he'll be keep seeing the student list page. And obviously we are doing a DAO call here, but this is only loading the student. As I said, loading is not costly, but creating a resource is costly, right? Loading means what? We're just trying to load it. We're just trying to load the data from somewhere. So no hamper to our database. But whenever we are trying to create something there, if we keep creating something, that will be a problem. Think about a payment page. Okay, imagine what if this is a payment page. Once you click on add, imagine somebody is doing some payment here. He is typing something here. Then imagine he is trying, instead of mobile, imagine he is putting some price, and if he's typing something here, and once he do submit, imagine if it is a payment page, right now the payment will be made, and again if you try to keep refreshing the page, then the payment will be made for again and again, right? The payment will be made for multiple times. People do refresh there in the web page. So to protect the user from that, and also to protect ourselves from that scenario, we are doing what? We are trying to follow a design pattern called post, redirect, and get. Control K to find that method. So we are doing post, redirect, get. Hopefully it makes sense.